Hi Pam, so I believe this is supposed to be your flat walk. So the flat walk is just like a regular horse's extended walk, but this is a little bit too slow. This is a much better speed right here. It's just a little quicker, and here it is in slow motion. So he has the correct footfall and he has the correct speed, even though I'm showing it to you in slow motion, and he has a nice head shake there. Okay, so I do need you to walk with a little bit more energy. The flat walk's about 3 to 5 miles per hour, but in the beginning you were going a little bit too slow. So you want to think a forward walk, but not super fast. Something a person could do walking next to you, a walk with some energy. As you're walking here, it's fine if he puts his head lower and stretches out, but you want to keep the same tempo, which means speed, because as he drops his head, he starts slowing down. So this is supposed to be a little bit of an energetic walk. Body position wise, I wouldn't get the seat tucked under too far, as this is just a slower walk, so you want to be neutral. And this might be your trainer here, so I would say stay neutral or a little bit tilted forward at his flat walk, not so far back as like a chair seat. Okay, so this is from your previous video. This is his flat walk. Yep, and just try to keep that same speed, and then you'll do another turn on the forehand at the top. So compare that to this video now. Yes, yep. He's walking forward, engaging, but it's still a walk. And you're sitting up nice and tall there, and you had more contact on the rein. Now in this video, it looks like you're going towards your running walk. Everything looks good, except I would sit up a little taller. I would keep a little bit more contact on his mouth, because you were doing good, and then he sped up too much. So right there, you're fine, and right about here, he speeds up too much, and he starts to go towards his racking gait. So the running walk is not a fast speed. It's between like 5 and 10 miles per hour. So this is your running walk for this horse at this point in time. So that's too fast. So you want to work more on keeping the same rhythm all the way around and not letting him speed up. And it'll be much easier if you bend your elbows, keep a little bit more contact on his mouth so you can half halt faster and help him to keep that same tempo as he's going around. So your horse does not have a very fast running walk, but that's it. This is not his running walk. Those couple of steps were a racking gait. So with the running walk, you'll have a little back and forth motion, which you have. The horse will have a head shake, bringing his head up and down. I would like his head just a little bit lower than it is. So bring it down maybe about 3 inches more below your waist level and keep more contact so there's not so much slack in the rein until he can keep a consistent speed. He just doesn't know. And right about here, he starts speeding up a little bit. You'll see the head shake is going away and he starts swinging a little bit more towards his rack. So that is your running walk. Keep that same speed and try not to let him go faster going up into his rack because he doesn't know. So use your half halts with your leg to keep him at that same consistent speed. So here you have a running walk. It's a little far away, so it's hard to see when I'm talking over it, but you keep changing speed. So it looks like you're pushing him too fast. You're pushing him past his running walk, and it keeps kind of going up into a racking gait, and then it's coming back down. So you want to keep that speed more consistent. It's hard because they're smooth, but this is too fast for him, okay? So you want to keep that speed a little bit slower. It's not the same speed as a trot, and that's the hard part with a lot of trainers. They think that running walk is the speed of a trot, and many of the gaited horses, it's not. It's slower. It's the speed of like a jog or just a slower trot, not like a working trot or an extended trot. So I would bring his head down more, round his back a little bit, and stay where he's shaking his head and you feel that back and forth motion. Do not go for speed. That's a problem with most of the people. So keep it a little bit slower. And remember, I have all your previous videos posted so you can compare these to them, and I can send you a link to it if you don't have it. But that's a little bit too fast there. So for his running walk, he should be shaking his head. The person riding should be moving slightly forward and backwards in the saddle. If there's no head shake and it's just smooth, that's a rack. If there's no head shake or the head's going side to side and there's a little bump in the saddle, then that's more pace, and we definitely don't want that. So I would keep him a little slower. It's not about speed, it's about getting the correct footfall and keeping the horse in that same rhythm over and over again as they're going around the arena, keeping that same rhythm and keeping that same tempo. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. Now this here is a running walk. He does have head shake, but you're very close to a racking gait. Okay, so as long as you can contain it, and you did in this video, you kept the same speed pretty good. His clicking his teeth, you'll see his mouth opening up and down. That's normal. That horse is doing that with the rhythm, and a lot of gaited horses do that, so don't worry about that. He has a nice head shake. You're moving back and forth in the saddle. You can sit back, which is great, but sit up just a little bit taller so it makes a prettier picture. But if he is going towards a trot, then you keep your weight back. If they're going towards a pace, then you tilt a little bit forward. And he's definitely not, at least in this video, pacing at all. He's more a little bit on the trotty side, but he's not trotting. He's actually doing a nice gait. So this can be your running walk as long as you keep this consistent. But again, just try not to throw your hands away. Sometimes people are trying to be too light, and then the horse starts changing its gait. So you want to make sure you have a light contact with its mouth so you can feel it until you make sure that horse is consistent and staying in gait. If he is, then your contact is fine here, but in some of the other videos, he kept changing speed. So again, this is your running walk. It's not your rack, but it's very close to a rack. Okay, so to get his racking gait, you would go just a tiny bit faster, not much, just a tiny bit faster. You won't get as much back and forth in the saddle. You'll get a little wiggle in the saddle, or it'll be smooth, and he won't have as much head shake. But his footfall, everything else is very correct. Just sit up a little taller so it looks a little bit prettier. And then with the gaited horses, there's so much motion in the saddle. I always tell people, don't pump your hands too much. Your body's going to move in the saddle, and because of that, your arms are going to move. It's different than a regular horse. So you usually don't have to push your arms back and forth to follow the bit. Just stay still, and the horse will do the rest of it. But otherwise, this looks quite good here. Okay. Okay, so this is from your previous video. This is his flat walk. Yep, and just try to keep that same speed, and then you'll do another turn on the forehand at the top. So compare that to this video now. Yes, yep. He's walking forward, engaging, but it's still a walk. And you're sitting up nice and tall there, and you had more contact on the rein. Now that's your running walk. I'm trying to keep the sound off, okay? So just a little bit more forward, head shaking, you moving back and forth, but sitting up nice and straight, and you have more contact on the rein. That helps them to know to stay in that speed. So again, this is your running walk. So head shaking, you're moving slightly back and forth in the saddle. Nice separation of his legs, and you're keeping the same speed, and he's nice and relaxed. There, he got a little bit fast right there. So you'll see here it was in slow motion, see him reaching. His neck is relaxed and his back is neutral. So this is your racking gait. So see his head's not shaking. See how it feels. If it gets bumpy, think of leg yielding in. So you see the legs are still separated. You'll see a little hop in his step a little bit. And if he got more pacey, you could bring his head down and half halt more. There it gets a little bouncy. So there we should go slower. Because that was the